All right. Hi there.
Hello,
How are
I'm
you?
Bianca.
Hi, Bianca. I'm Tom.
All right,
Good to meet you.
it's good to meet you as well, Tom. So before we start our session, I'm just gonna go over confidentiality. Do you
Okay.
know much about it?
No, tell me about confidentiality.
All right, so it's 4 aspects of it that I would have to disclose.
Okay.
One would be if you report abuse or neglect on a child, or elderly person, or disabled. If you're in any imminent danger to yourself or others. If you were underage, 18, then
Right.
I would have to disclose that to your parents if they was to ask, what we talked about in the session. But I try to ask parents not to ask much so we can have a session, a real session.
Okay.
And then if you were court ordered, so if the court said, if a judge said, it can come from the court, but if the judge says, I need to know what you guys are talking about, I have to disclose that.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Sounds good?
How long do you think we'll be here today?
Should be about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes?
Yeah.
About 6:20 or so.
All right.
Okay.
So, before we start, I do take notes, so if at any point that bothers you, just let me know and I'll stop.
Okay.
But before we start, I want to ask you, have you had previous counseling before?
I have.
Okay, what was the reason behind that one?
Well, marital problems with my wife and I.
Okay.
Issues with my children.
Okay.
Family matters.
Gotcha.
Mm.
All right, so what brings you in today, Tom?
Family matters.
Gotcha. Once again, okay.
Well, it's been a series of unfortunate events
Okay.
involving my daughter Olivia.
Okay.
From the time that she graduated high school, to get to college, to drop out of college, to come home, to move out of the house, try to spread those featherless wings, and just one fiasco after the next, and it never stops.
Gotcha. That sounds like that was pretty stressful.
Whew, is it? It is. It's stressful internally. It affects my sleeping. It affects my relationship with my wife and children.
Okay.
It affects my relationship with Olivia.
Okay.
It affects my wife's relationship with Olivia.
Gotcha.
And it impacts my sleep patterns.
Okay. So that would be one way that it affects your everyday functions, will be your sleeping.
Yes. Yes.
What are some of your thoughts and feelings toward the situation?
When is it ever going to end?
Okay.
What's going to make it better for me? And am I going to be able to push back and say, enough's enough?
Okay.
I've had enough of this. I've enabled you enough.
Okay.
And by enabling you, you're not, and not you, but Olivia.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's only hurt you. It really has. She's a train wreck.
Okay.
A train wreck.
Gotcha. Okay, so tell me more about Olivia and the situation that started.
She, when she was in high school, she wanted to explore different colleges to go to.
Okay.
And what came down to is she wanted to get out of the Tri-County area of South Carolina. She wanted to spread them wings. So she decided to go to University of Denver.
Okay.
Out in Colorado. So in doing that, we had to go through the FAFSA applications, and I was trying to get her to work with me so I could do them together.
Okay.
She's going to school, not me.
Gotcha.
She needs to take some ownership in these plans,
Okay.
despite what her friends' parents do. This is her and I, but not only what Angie and her mom and daddy do, and this is Tom and Olivia.
Okay.
So we had plans to do FAFSA for several weekends, and every time something comes up, she can't do it. She's got to work. She's got to go hang out with the kids, go to concerts, you name it. That was all the excuse. But I eventually got the chop from the wife, get it done. It's the deadline's approaching, so I got it done. Everybody's happy.
All right.
I'm happy.
So Tom, just to clarify, so you and Olivia was time to go to college. You all was supposed to work on FAFSA together. When she kept blowing you off and she knew this was a you wanted her to sit down with you and do it together, but when she kept blowing you off, how did that feel?
I felt neglected. I felt disrespected because the actions I was going to be doing were to benefit her. It wasn't for me. I wasn't going to try to get out of South Carolina. I like South Carolina.
Okay.
But she wanted to go, and she just she expected me and her mother to do it all on a silver platter. All right, here's your FAFSA.
Gotcha.
And that's what she got. She got it on a silver platter because the deadline approached on the Mother's Day weekend. My wife said it's got to get done or she can't go to school. So here I am doing FAFSA until 4 o'clock in the morning on Mother's Day morning.
So you did say she wanted to hand it to her on a silver platter.
She did.
So when Lori got on you about, let's get it done, Tom, we need it done. What was that like when Lori was like, come on, Tom, but you know that it was supposed to be you and Olivia doing it together?
Well, initially, I pushed back and said, look, this is for Olivia. She needs to be here. We've been trying since January. It's May now.
Okay.
She's had a weekend. She's had time. She could have said, girls, I can't go. I got to spend 4 hours with Mr. Tom, as she calls me.
Okay, that's true.
To do my FAFSA.
That's true.
Wasn't in her agenda.
So what was Lori's? Did you express that to Lori that it was supposed to be you and Olivia's?
I did. And she said, well, she's a busy girl. She's working. It's her senior year, and she's got to hang out with her friends, and any other excuse as to why Olivia couldn't be there. That's what I heard. And at some point, as the man in the house, you just got to realize that, hey, the wife's in charge. The wife is in charge.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So I get it done. I knock it out. Everything's golden for a while.
Okay, so how did that leave you feeling when Lori was like, Tom, we need it done, but you like, Lori, no, it's supposed to be me and Olivia, but she's getting on you, and it's not even something that you're supposed to do.
It made me angry. I was angry. Frustrated.
All right.
And it impacted my relationship with Lori to some extent because she doesn't know how to do the FAFSA stuff. She's not computer literate like I am.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to do FAFSA stuff. Otherwise, I said, oh, I got this. But, it really doesn't matter if I knew or she knew. Olivia needs to know how to do this because it's Olivia's loans. Or it was supposed to be Olivia's loans. But so now we have what we have.
All right.
What we have.
So when you guys got it done, what happened after that? Well, when you got it done, what happened after that?
Well, the letters came in, you're approved, you're this, you're that. Denver University sent in the letter saying you've been accepted, graduated high school. I loaded her up in, how'd she get out to Denver? The wife drove her out, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, wife and son drove her out to Denver.
Okay.
Did her first semester in the dorm. Great time. I think the second semester she moved out into the economy with friends. I don't think I was paying, I know I wasn't paying for any apartment.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, she was out there and it was great, what she wanted to do. We were still supporting her financially, but again, I wasn't paying for any apartment out in town. I'm sure I was paying lodging at the, where the student loan was.
Yeah.
But, that summer she comes home. She's back into the Cutco knife selling gear again, and she's going 90 miles an hour. She hooks up with her boss.
Okay.
And hooks up. She started dating her boss. She's getting her honey. She makes her money, and
gotcha.
in the adult world we don't do that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work well.
Makes business with pleasure.
Right. And Olivia is 19, 20 years old now.
Okay.
So she's not adult age per se. She can't go out and and drink and whatnot, but the boy she's dating is, and his idea of a summer business meeting is, let's go to the beach. We'll sit on the beach. We'll have all my little salespeople out there, and I'll bring the beer. And I basically went to him. I said, "Hey, man, you're 25 years old, bringing these young adults out to the beach with you. You're giving them alcohol.
Okay.
You're telling them, oh, it's okay. I got this. You're an adult now, but they're really not." And my thought on it is, well, she's 20, she's almost 21, but if she has too much to drink and has an accident going back, whose fault is it? It's not going to be your fault.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be her fault. It's going to be my insurance.
All right.
You need to think about this stuff, and he just...
So back to the college thing. I know you said she went, she came back during the summer. Did she return after the summer?
Yeah,
she had a party and everything?
She returned for the fall semester.
Okay.
And was out there for about 3 weeks, maybe not even 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Less than 10 days, actually.
Wow.
And she called her mom and says, it's not for me. I don't like college anymore. I'm ready to come home. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that was part of her boss's plan.
Okay. Because I was going to ask, did you think that the business meeting and the boss kind of influenced this?
The boss just said, you already know this stuff. You've been selling knives for 2 years. You know all the business. Oh, yeah, you're right. So
Okay.
she drops out, comes home, works with him some more, does a bash-up job selling knives.
Okay.
The company gives her some promotions. She goes off and spreads them wings a little bit. And, after about 6 months, she can't pay her expenses on the office that she rented.
Okay.
And she's coming back home to mom and dad again. So, it's out of the house, in the house, out of the house,
Gotcha.
in the house.
What was it like when she came back home and she told you, she told Lori, you didn't know, but when you figured out, when she's back home, she's not going back to school?
Well, what did I think? I was disappointed, in my mind, she squandered 18 months away from home where she learned some skills.
Okay.
She learned some skills.
Okay.
She went to some classes. Some classes she withdrew from.
Okay.
Some classes she failed from.
Oh, wow.
But, she got that experience of living out away from home.
Okay.
And she thought she was going to come back in the house and enjoy that freedom of, I'm going to go out at 11:30 tonight, and maybe I'll be home by 6:30. Maybe I won't. So that didn't fly very well. We had a couple good arguments over her. So she did. It turns out that one of her professors out there told her that she knew enough about business and marketing and sales that she didn't need to sit in school for 4 years. And then the boyfriend here at work was like, oh, come on. We got things to do.
How was that when, a professor that's supposed to be guiding you and teaching you tells you, oh, you don't need college?
It just goes to show you that not all professors are wisdom and smart.
Sure.
And have the wisdom to advise people. So, I didn't know who he was. He wouldn't tell me who it was. I didn't have access to her grades or anything. But it turns out that if she'd taken a full of those classes in the spring and the fall, well, she withdrew from one class each semester, and she failed one class each semester, and squeezed through 2 other semesters or classes during the semester. So she wasn't doing well. She wasn't applying herself.
Okay.
And maybe she needed to come home and maybe take a gap year and figure stuff out. Well,
what was your take on the boyfriend or the boss?
The boss, he presented himself as a polished young man. He had his 4-year degree. He was in sales. He was the manager of the office. He was struggling, but he had some good salespeople beneath him that were making the sales to keep his business going. In my mind, he made some poor choices. He would say, hey, we're having a business meeting and we're doing it at Folly this weekend. Bring your swimsuits and suntan lotion, and I'll bring the beer. And I'm like, Libby, how old are you? 20? How about your friends at work? Oh, they're 18, 19, 20, a couple 21. Okay. So, one weekend, they're coming back from the beach, and we go to the office because she took the vacuum from home to the boss's office to vacuum the floor. So we're getting the vacuum, and I pull him aside and say, look, you know, you're setting yourself up for a situation that you don't want to be in. If one of your employees has an accident and kills somebody, and you've been plying them with alcohol at the beach, even if it's 1 or 2 beers, 120-pound young lady drinking and driving is going to kill somebody, and it's going to come back on you. And unfortunately, Cutco is going to cut you loose like a 10-pound sack of potatoes. So I don't know if it went in one ear and out the other. Oh yeah, you're right. Be that as it may.
What was your take about him on her influence to come back home?
Disappointed.
Okay.
Disappointed. I think it's great that he likes my daughter. And she likes him, or seems to like him, but encourage her to get that degree that he's already got.
That's true.
Encouragement, and say, I'll be here this next summer when you come back, or I'll be here at Christmas when you come back. And if you want to just tell her that and go find somebody else in the meantime, you're a young man, go do what you want to do. Play the field. But to encourage her to come home because you're lonely was just immature in my mind.
Okay.
You're lacking maturity because you want her to go out and sell for you and for your office, but you're not going to let her get the foundation that she needs so she can make more money for you.
Okay. So with all this going on, how is this affecting your day-to-day functions?
So she's dropped out of school.
Okay.
And the school reports to FAFSA and says Olivia's withdrawn from school. And FAFSA says, she's not in school, she's working or should be working, so she can start paying back her student loans. And so they start sending letters to the house, and I look at it and it says Navient student loans, and it's got my name on it. I'm thinking, Livy, can get this, and she opens up the first one and says, oh, this isn't mine, this has got your name on it, Dad. And she's out the door, I'm like, is it right? It doesn't say Olivia on here. It says Tom, and it says Tom's Social Security number. So I call them and, hey, and they said, well, look, your student loan came in. What is your Social Security number? I said, well, yeah, but you asked for a Social Security number. It's for my daughter. And she said, yeah, she may have went to school, but you took out the loan in your name. I'm like, oh, God. So.
What was that? What was the news like when they told you that?
It was like a mule kicked me in the stomach.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to have a multi-thousand dollar loan dropped on me that's now due.
So how are you dealing with it now, I guess, or how is it affecting day to day?
Day to day at the time, it was like I'm gonna bury my head in the sand because I can't afford to pay this loan. I've got other loans I got to pay, other bills to pay, other life to support. So, and in doing that, I explained to Lydia, look, this is your bill. You can start paying on this. And she said, okay, I'll start. And she just never did. She just got herself into a revolving account of creating debt for herself. And so this one here just sat here and languished and grew. So
is it affecting you at all, or just like the whole FAFSA deal, doing it by yourself, the boyfriend, her just dropping out of school?
It's frustrating. It's aggravating. It eats my lunch.
Okay.
It gives me heartburn to think about, and my natural inclination when something goes on that I don't like throw it in the trash. I don't have to worry about it. If I don't see it, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But you know, for some reason they had my address and they just sent me another bill.
that's true.
So that didn't work. But, and so I called them and said, hey, look, I can't afford to pay this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it on some sort of program that they have where they can suspend the payments for 6 or 8 months while you figure out what you're gonna do. I said, okay, let's do that. And that went on for 3 or 4 years because I didn't have the money to start paying this bill.
That's true.
In the meantime, Olivia is bouncing from Charleston to Greenville to Charlotte to Durham to Raleigh, doing stuff with Cutco and getting involved in corporate type affairs with Cutco.
Okay.
And doing well, but you know, still living at home or going out for a while and coming back home. And she got to the point where they needed a district manager in the Brooklyn, New York area. So she, I'm going to New York, and she packs up and goes to New York. And you know, they train their representatives pretty good.
Okay.
They tell them how to negotiate for leases, building spaces, whatever. So she's on her own. You know, she's 21 years old and she's negotiating a 5-year lease on an office space. And the office space is going to run her about $3,000 a month. And she says, oh, I got this. I'll hire my sales force. They'll sell their knives. They'll make their money. They'll have money for me to make my rent and stuff. Well, you know, the sales force wasn't happy with what they were making, so they didn't sell very much. But the man with the key to the building said, hey, you gotta pay me. You were short last month, we gotta make it up this month. And they argued about a few things because the outlets didn't work over here, or it had a leak in the roof over there. And she got to the point where she didn't pay and just walked away. And so now she's got a judgment against her for $3,000 a month for 5 years, and she only did about 6 months of it. So $36,000 a year times, you know, she's got a good $100,000 lien against her already.
Okay, so with that being another factor to everything else, the dropping out of school, the FAFSA deal, you having to pay back FAFSA, is this affecting you in any physical way?
Heartburn. Worrying about paying my bills, and my FAFSA bill. I own that one. It's my FAFSA bill that I didn't want. But yeah, I lose sleep.
Okay.
I sit up and worry because I have rent to pay, I have groceries to buy, and these people over here, they want their money. And Olivia's living in New York now, and she needs money. And there was just not enough money to go around to take care of everybody. And
what's your thoughts and feelings about the problem that she's creating and, you know, still adding on to the problem?
well, you know, I tried to explain to Lori what's going on. And Lori's like, well, just talk to them. Say, look, we don't have enough money. We're going to pay this first, and next month we'll pay you first. And that's how I was uncomfortable doing that. I didn't create all these debts. I created my debts, and I could manage my debt. But you know, I don't think that I should avoid paying Mr. White over here, who I said I would pay $100 a month, and I got Mr. FAFSA sitting over here saying, well, what about me? And then Miss Olivia's up here in New York saying, they shut my lights off. I need the lights turned back on so I can work, because I can't run my computers in my office. So Mr. White's waiting, Mr. FAFSA's waiting, but Olivia's got lights in her office now that she should be able to pay for on her own. And in the meantime, Mr. Tom is having account balance problems because I go in the negative, because I would make the payment to Mr. White, and in the meantime, Lori was shifting money to New York, and there wasn't enough money coming in to pay it all.
So it sounds like this problem existed, let's say, it probably started during the high school, her senior year of high school is when this problem started?
It started as soon as she got dropped out of college.
Okay.
That's when she started moving to
Okay.
Greenville or going up to Raleigh to work, and she would sign a lease for a piece of property to rent
Mm-hmm.
for business or to live in, and she wouldn't have enough income on her own to get through it. And, you know, a little did I know at the time, but when she went to Greenville to live for that 1 year that she was supposed to be there,
Okay.
Lori co-signed on her lease agreement. So now these people are saying, hey, we need our money. Yeah, living there, but she's not paying the rent, so Ms. Cover, you need to start paying up. I'm like, huh. So, you know, I'm losing sleep, I've got heartburn, I'm not eating well.
Okay.
Constipation, diarrhea, you name it, you know, it comes and goes. And,
Okay.
I once heard a saying, don't ever get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Well, I was angry,
Mm-hmm.
I was lonely because my wife and I were arguing and the kids, so
Okay.
angry, lonely, I got that one knocked out. Hungry, angry, well, I didn't have any problem being hungry because I ate.
Gotcha.
And to go along with that, eating causes this big old belly, and
Okay.
so I wasn't losing any weight, but I was angry, lonely, and tired because I'd sit up worried about so much stuff.
All right. So what did you want to go over today?
I want to get to the point where Olivia and I can talk and get past where we're at.
Okay.
We need to get past this because I'm still young, she's still young. At some point, she's going to find Mr. Right and want to bring him home, and I got to have that talk with him. And I want things to be right when she decides to come home with somebody someday, or just come home.
Okay.
You know, come home at Christmas and we'll have a good Christmas where we're not worried about the bills and just stuff.
Okay, so what I am understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, you want to be able to explain these bottled emotions that you have towards Olivia.
Right.
You want to get these out, express it to her so that you all can get past this into a better state.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So we're going to work on self-expressions, which is in the easier term, self-expressions.
Okay.
Okay, so I have this activity I want us to try, and it's called the empty chair technique.
Okay.
So what I do is I'm bringing an empty chair, and you imagine this chair being Olivia. And I want you to talk to Olivia, let Olivia know, well, since we discussed the FAFSA and where she is now, I want you to let her know your feelings on those series of events. Like,
Right.
how did those make you feel? How's it affecting you and Lori, just, briefly.
Right.
But I want you to let her know these things, because like you said, you bottled them up.
Right.
And you just build on top of each other. So instead of exploding at the end, I just want you to kind of get this out.
Right.
Is that something you want to try?
Sure.
All right.
Avoid that heart attack someday.
Gotcha. Let me get the chair.
Okay.
All right. So this is going to be our Olivia. And Tom, when you are ready, you can let Olivia know how you feel.
All right. Well, Olivia, we've been having some communication problems lately, and it's both of us. I avoid talking to you, you avoid talking to me, and when we do talk, it's very volatile. So, for me, it all started back when you decided you were going out of state to go to school, and you needed to get your FAFSA stuff done, and I agreed to help you with it. But every time that I came to you and said, hey, we got time, let's sit here and do this, you had something else to do. And I understand you were a senior in high school and you had things you wanted to do. You had work to do, you had prom and all these other things to do. But you neglected to think about spending time with me so we can sit and do your FAFSA stuff. And so the deadline came and you weren't there to do it. I'm disappointed in that. It made me a little angry because you knew it had to get done and you had the position that Betty Joe's mom and daddy did theirs, so I should be able to do yours. And that wasn't how I was going to roll. If I wanted to go do something, I was going to take care of it myself. You wanted to go to school. You wanted me to take care of that for you, and I didn't like it. I was angry about it. I was disappointed that you wouldn't commit yourself to make the time so we could do this together. And it resulted in an argument between your mom and I to get your FAFSA done. At the time, she was dealing with your grandma being in the nursing home, and she didn't have time to do it. So I did it, and it took some time to do it, and it was frustrating, and there was a lot of little details that I had to track down that I had a deadline. You had a deadline that I had to meet, and it wasn't very comfortable. But I came through it, I knocked it out, and we arranged for you to go to school. So,
Drop out.
in doing that, you went out to Denver, you went to school, you were doing great. After your first year of school, you came home, you were running around here in Charleston doing your sales, and we had to talk about Jake, that was your boyfriend's name, and how he was your boss and your boyfriend. And I told you, that those type of relationships cause problems at some point for both parties, because your coworkers can look at you like, well, why are you getting special treatment from Jake? And Jake's gonna be like, well, you got to do something for me if I'm gonna do something for you, and it just doesn't work out. You went back to school, and within 3 or 4 days, you were calling your mom saying that you were ready to come home, that school wasn't for you, and you essentially told your mom that if you don't drop out now, that you're going to drop out in 2 weeks, and then that money that's been put forward to the school would just be wasted because you're not going to finish school anyway, and you came home. I'm glad you came home before that money went out the window like it did. It had a benefit that I didn't know at the time, but it still disappointed your mom and I that you backed out of your commitment to earn your college degree. Your mom was disappointed in you. I've been disappointed in it, and in our disappointment with you, we've had some arguments. You've made some poor choices, and we've tried to guide you on how to make those choices, and you always seem to think that Jake had your best interest at heart, or Michael at the district office in Raleigh had your best interest at heart. And looking back at it now, you can think, they gave you some good guidance, but look where you're at now. You're living in New York, and you have over $100,000 worth of debt racked up that you can't afford to pay. And along with that process is when I did your FAFSA. Your FAFSA was done in my name, so your student loan is actually my student loan, and they're looking at me to pay it, and I'm looking at you to reimburse me for your loan, and it's too much. It's too much. Your mom and I are supporting you in New York. Sure, you make money, but you don't make enough money to pay your bills and your lifestyle and whatever else comes up without your mom and I having to pay it. You can take care of your business, and your business is great, but you're not making enough money to pay your home bills. And I don't have enough money to continue to support you in New York and our debts here at home. So I think you need to make some tough choices. I think you need to decide, are you going to live in New York? And if you are, how you're going to support yourself, because I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I want to improve our relationship, and I think we can do it together. But you might have to, you might have to go to a lower cost of living area. Maybe you don't need to be in New York as much as you love it. Maybe you need to go to Raleigh or Durham or back to Charlotte. It doesn't cost as much to live there. You won't potentially earn as much as what you could in New York, but right now you're not making that much money in New York either. So I don't know. I want our relationship to improve instead of continuing to go down the drain.
How was that, Tom?
It felt good to get a hold of those emotions and tell her how I was frustrated with her and angry and disappointed, and it allowed me to reflect on my feelings. And what's really important is family. Family is more important. The bills will come and go.
Sure.
She's going to make more bills. I'm going to make more bills, and the bill man's always going to be there asking, when are you coming to pay me? And I can't take my money with me.
That's
when
true.
they put me in the ground, I can't bring it with me.
That's true.
And so.
Just some of my thoughts about it. I think you did good. It was great.
Okay.
I can tell you came intense and stressed, but after you got it out, you did like a sigh of relief, like, oh, yes. So I felt like I did see that you got the emotions out because you did the sigh of relief, like,
right.
It's off my back. I can breathe easy now. So that was great. That was great. You started from fast and let her know how you felt. Then the dropout. I think with the dropout, it was more feelings than disappointment. But we'll just explore that later.
Okay.
Then you let her know about poor choices that she's making. And you also told her you can't support her lifestyle anymore. So then you gave suggestions on what you all can do. You did great. In my opinion, you did great. It's just maybe I might want to explore a few more of these just to pull out a few more emotions that Tom may be feeling and he's not expressing. But those three, but you did great. Like, you did great. But I do want to explore maybe some different feelings that you might not know you're experiencing. And we just, just through session, we kind of bring those up and you're like, oh yeah, I do feel that way. So that's something that we can look at.
Okay.
So for the next session, we're going to part 2 of the empty chair with Olivia, if that's good with you.
Okay.
And then after we kind of get Olivia to an okay level, then we'll start working with Lori. Because you said you have problems with your marriage because of situations and things that Olivia does.
Right.
All right, so that was great, Tom. And I will see you this time next week to work on the second part of Empty Chair.
Super.
All right. You're welcome.
Right.
Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you too.